Have you ever had the feeling that what you're seeing isn't all there is? That beneath the surface of everyday objects, faces, and events, something deeper is hiding. A shape behind the shadow, a truth behind the appearance. It's not madness. It's not imagination. It's one of the oldest insights in the human story. And its most powerful expression came from one man sitting in ancient Athens, asking questions so dangerous his student had to turn them into myths just to protect him. That man was Plato. And what he saw changed how we understand the nature of reality forever. Today, we enter the mind's labyrinth, the twisting, beautiful, terrifying place where Plato's theory of forms lives. But be warned, this isn't casual philosophy. This is a key that can dissolve everything you thought was real. Let's begin with a single, ordinary object, a chair. It has 4 legs, a backrest, and maybe it's made of wood, plastic, or metal. Now ask yourself, what makes it a chair? If I break one leg, is it still a chair? If I sculpt a chair out of ice, does it stop being one when it melts? Where is the essence of chairness? Plato believed the physical object isn't the full reality. It's just a shadow of a deeper, eternal form, an invisible blueprint that exists beyond space and time. Every chair, in his view, is simply an imperfect reflection of the perfect form of the chair. This form isn't found in the object. It's not in the mind. It exists on its own, in a non-material realm, a kind of cosmic architecture of truth. A world where everything that truly is exists in its most pure, unchanging state. Beauty, justice, goodness, even the human soul. To understand Plato's forms, we have to understand his core belief. The material world is always in flux. Everything decays, breaks, and transforms. And because it's always changing, it can never be the source of true knowledge. We cannot rely on the senses, they deceive us. What seems beautiful may not be good. What feels pleasant may not be true. But the forms, they are eternal, untouched by decay. They don't just exist, they are existence in its highest form. This is where the labyrinth begins. Plato believed that every soul, before being born into the body, once dwelt in that realm of forms. And when we are born, we forget it. Life, then, becomes a strange, painful process of remembering. We don't learn truth, we recognize it. We recollect it. That's why certain music brings tears to our eyes, certain moments stop us in awe, certain ideas strike us like lightning. It's the soul remembering what it already knows. A kind of divine homesickness. But how do we find our way back to that hidden realm? According to Plato, through reason, through philosophy, through dialectic, the art of questioning not to destroy, but to ascend. In his famous allegory of the cave, Plato paints this journey with fire. Imagine prisoners chained in a dark cave since birth. All they've ever seen are shadows dancing on a wall. To them, the shadows are reality. They laugh, fear, hope, all based on these flickering illusions. But then, one prisoner is freed. He turns around, blinded by firelight. Then slowly, painfully, walks up toward the mouth of the cave. Outside, he sees the real world, not shadows, not imitations, but the true forms lit by the sun, which symbolizes the form of the good. And when he returns to tell the others, they mock him, call him mad. They've grown addicted to the illusion. That's the world we live in. A society of shadows, of appearances. Plato wasn't just warning us about ignorance. He was describing the human condition and offering us a way out. But most people don't want to leave the cave. The implications of this theory are enormous. Think about justice. In our world, justice is debated, twisted, and politicized. But to Plato, all of these are just fragments of the true form of justice. And the closer a society mirrors that form, the more just it becomes. Same with beauty. What we find beautiful today may be ugly tomorrow. But there exists a perfect beauty, untouched by time, and our experience of beauty is merely a dim echo of that original perfection. This is not abstract. This is the structure of reality, if Plato is right. And yet, there's a problem. If the forms exist beyond time, space, and the physical, how do we access them? If they're not made of matter, how can we even perceive them? Plato believed that the soul, because it once knew the forms, still has access to them through reason and contemplation. But this raises another question. If truth is immaterial, is the soul immaterial too? This is where Plato's vision moves from metaphysics to spirituality. He believed the soul is immortal precisely because it can know the eternal. The body may hunger, decay, and die, but the soul, it remembers. It recognizes patterns that go beyond survival. It longs for truth, beauty, goodness, things that have no physical utility. Why does a sunset move us? Why does a melody stir us to tears? Plato would say, because something in us is eternal, and it's aching to return home. But here's the twist. While Plato saw the forms as perfect and unchanging, he also knew that humans live in the in-between. We are not fully in the material, not fully in the eternal. We are suspended between two realms, and that tension is what makes life both tragic and beautiful. Philosophy, then, is not just an intellectual exercise. It's spiritual navigation. This is why Socrates, Plato's teacher, said the unexamined life is not worth living. Because only through examining life can we move from shadow to substance, from imitation to reality, from noise to truth. This also explains why so many people today feel lost, not just emotionally, but ontologically. We're surrounded by symbols, screens, illusions, but no contact with the real. We mistake likes for love, entertainment for meaning, data for wisdom. The modern world is a digital cave, and most of us are too dazzled by the shadows to even know we're prisoners. Yet the forms remain, patient, undisturbed, waiting to be remembered. That's the first step. And it's where many turn back. Because to seek the forms is to give up certainty, to surrender comfort, to face the truth that most of what we believe is false. But the reward is vision. Plato's theory of forms is not just a metaphysical claim, it's a moral challenge. Are we willing to rise above the world of appearances and seek the eternal truths that call to us in silence? If you've ever stared into a fire and felt like something ancient was staring back, if you've ever had a dream that felt more real than your waking life, if you've ever looked into someone's eyes and felt like time stopped, that's a glimpse, a crack in the illusion, a moment when the soul remembers. But what happens when we truly begin to live from this awareness? Plato believed the soul's task was not just to glimpse the forms, but to align with them, to reshape our inner world in their image. In that sense, philosophy isn't just thought, it's purification. It's how we escape the chaos of shifting opinions, of desire and fear, and become something steady, something sovereign. But the path isn't easy. In the modern world, we're taught that reality is only what we can measure. If you can't touch it, track it, scan it, it's not real. But Plato turns this on its head. The things we call real, buildings, money, titles, even our identities, are shadows. They change, they vanish. The deeper, truer reality is invisible, timeless, unchanging. That means the most important things in life can't be seen with the eyes. Think of love, not an attraction, not attachment. Love, the essence of it. Where does it come from? Why does it move us to sacrifice, to transcend ego? Plato would say, because it pulls us toward the form of the good, the highest of all forms. He believed that once you grasp this form, everything else becomes clear. The chaos makes sense. The pain finds purpose. The soul finds orientation. That's why Socrates, as he faced death, wasn't afraid. He knew his body could be destroyed, but his soul had touched something eternal. In the Phaedo, Plato describes Socrates drinking the poison calmly, even cheerfully, because he believed he was finally returning to the realm he truly belonged. Not as an escape, but as a homecoming. But how do we live here, in this world, while reaching for that one? That question brings us to the heart of Plato's practical philosophy. He didn't tell us to abandon the world, but to purify our perception of it, to train the soul to recognize truth within the illusion, to raise the intellect beyond opinion and the heart beyond pleasure. That's why he founded the Academy, the first institution of higher learning in the Western world. Its goal wasn't just to teach knowledge, but to transform the soul. It was a training ground for the mind, the spirit, and the moral compass. And its central inscription said one thing: let no one ignorant of geometry enter. Not because geometry was math, but because it taught the soul to seek order, harmony, proportion, the very attributes of the forms. To Plato, geometry wasn't academic. It was sacred. So what would he say about our world today? A world addicted to immediacy, seduced by surfaces, where opinions shout louder than truth, and where philosophy has been reduced to a college elective, not a way of life. He'd probably say, we've lost the art of recollection. We've forgotten how to listen to the soul. Because when you live in a world of imitation long enough, the real begins to look strange. People chase pleasure, thinking it's happiness. They chase status, thinking it's a purpose. They chase perfection, thinking it's love. But those things are echoes, not the source. The more we feed on shadows, the more spiritually malnourished we become. This is why Plato's theory of forms still matters, not as an intellectual model, but as a lifeline. It reminds us that our intuition isn't crazy, that our longing for something more isn't weakness. It's memory. The soul knows there's a deeper reality, and that knowing is the beginning of awakening. But awakening comes with a cost. When the freed prisoner from the cave returns to tell the others about the real world, they hate him, they resist, they even want to kill him. Why? Because the truth threatens the system. Illusions offer comfort, and the deeper the lie, the more violent the reaction to truth. It's not so different today. Try telling people that fulfillment doesn't come from consumption. That love isn't found in validation. That peace requires silence, not stimulation. You'll be mocked, dismissed, even feared. But that's the price of stepping into the light. And once you've seen it, you can never go back. So what now? You don't need to memorize the forms. You don't need to become a scholar, but you can begin to notice. When something stirs your soul, don't brush it off. When you feel pulled toward a truth you can't explain, follow it. When you experience beauty that makes time stop, be still. That's the soul remembering. And from there, begin to align your life with what is real. Choose substance over appearance, depth over distraction, meaning over noise. That's how you walk the path, not as an escape from the world, but as a way to transform it. Because here's the truth no one tells you. The forms aren't just out there. They are also in here. Plato wasn't giving us a map to flee reality. He was offering us a mirror to reflect what's eternal within ourselves. You are not just flesh and bone. You are not just the product of time and culture. You are a soul with the memory of eternity inside you. And every time you choose truth over illusion, you come closer to your original nature. That is the meaning of philosophy. Not to know more, but to become more. So ask yourself, are you living in the cave? Or are you ready to turn around and begin the climb? What do you think? Is there a reality beyond what we see? Do you ever feel like the soul is remembering something ancient? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read each one, and this space is for seekers like you. If this video awakened something in you, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more journeys into the unseen, the eternal, and the essential truths most people ignore. Sometimes, philosophy isn't just a way of thinking, it's a way of coming home.